13th floor. The 13th floor.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the 13th floor, where the furniture isn't always the best, but the views are amazing. I'm your moderator, B. Jones, and I'm joined by the BFBG Faison in the building with that beautiful bright smile. What's happening?
Hey, what's going on, everybody? I'm excited to be here. One-on-one, man. We haven't done this since the very beginning, so it's kind of cool to bring it back.
Yeah, man. If you haven't been listening, we throwing the one-on-ones in between, the regular podcast, just giving you an opportunity to catch up with the guys, see where we are in our current states. If you go back and listen to Faison's one-on-one, man, he did a whole lot of reminiscing from his college days. It was very, very entertaining.
Lots of growth.
But yes, there has been lots of growth since then, man. You've had another child since.
Yeah, this is true.
Arenze and Namdi all the time. You've also been getting into real estate, though. I think that's huge.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that, how that journey has been.
It's been eye-opening because you learn a lot of things. I'm avid reader. I've been reading a lot of different books. From Bigger Pockets books, Bigger Pockets website, YouTubing, reading sections, still trying to find like what I want to do with real estate because there's so much you can do. Just from flipping, which I don't want to do. That I know I do not want to do. Do not want to flip. That is
why not? Why not? That's what people get into real estate for. Like
that's the glitz and glamour. That's what you see on TV. That's the WWF of sports. It looks pretty. HGTV makes it seem like, oh, we're gonna get this house for $200,000. I'm gonna put $80,000 in the house on myself for $900,000 and make this massive profit.
Exactly.
And then they don't tell you about the taxes. They don't tell you about how long it's set in the market. Tell you about how long if the market's up or down. They don't tell you about the structural problems you may have or things that are going forward. And yeah, you see some of the episodes where they show like, the roof foundation is this. It's going to cost us $2,000. Yeah, that's for somebody who has done 20 houses and has somebody who worked with them side by side. But somebody who's new, that $2,000 gets you nothing because they don't know you don't know them, and they're going to charge you because you're new in the game. So flipping, you can make a lot of money flipping. Don't get me wrong, but it has to be at a seller's market, meaning that the inventory is super low and you have it what people are buying for it, and now you are able to go in there with a great deal and move it quickly. If you hold a house too long, you can spend $200 a day out of lost profit just by holding it, not including electricity and water and then your insurance. It can pile up, which is why people tend to sell houses quickly or they just move into it because they feel like, well, it's done now, it's cost us too much to keep it as a secondary house. So flipping houses, it's an ordinary tax. You pay on that as well too. So that's the highest tax bracket you get out of all taxes is flipping houses. So 40% off top, gone.
That's capital gains.
Exactly. Exactly. So it is pretty. And the last thing I'll say about flipping is that people who do flipping, you have to get ready for your next deal. You're consistently looking, if you're doing it full time, you're consistently looking for the next house to flip, next house to go, because that's your income. So you may make $6,000 after taxes, $30,000, and then you gotta find the next house because you need more money to live because that's not enough for you to live on. Mm-hmm. So flipping is a very, very tough business. Then you have the wholesaling business where you don't really buy the house, you kind of hold it and sell it to someone else. They do the work for it. That's a whole other industry that takes relationship building and inventory processing time and knowing the markets very well. It's a good way to get in the market. It's a very low cost way to get in, but you never technically own anything. You're taking it and you're handing it off to someone else. Like the middleman between sellers. And then there's the buy and hold method. And there's more too, but the buy and hold method, big three, that I think. And that's the one where you buy it, you hold it, you rent it out, and use that as long-term passive income after you've paid the mortgage down and you've used equity from it. So that's the market that I'm going into, is the buy and hold.
So you're going into the buy hold market?
Yeah.
Okay. So what do you see? Like, why did you pick that one? I guess I understand the differences between, the flipping and everything, but why is buy hold, the thing for you?
Well, the selfish reason for me is that it's going to help me pay for my kids' school. It's going to help continue to have wealth later on. So when I'm ready to retire, I have additional income coming in that I don't have to think about. It's going to be there. Now, it's not truly passive because I have to have somebody to manage it, or I'm managing it to make sure of it. But it's still in the mindset going to be a really good way of income coming in from businesses and from my rental properties that I have set forth. So you start with one, you use that income you got, or they call it the exact word they use is the equity in that property, and you take the equity out. Once you got it to a certain amount, and you use that equity to your next house. So buying and holding allows you to buy more properties because you're using equity to buy. You're leveraging the house to buy the next house, and then you go forward from there. And you got to find where you want to stop. So it can go on, and you can continue doing this forever. Or you have a goal to say, I only want to have 10 houses, 10 individual properties, multi-unit, single family. But at the end of the day, I only want 10 properties that I will manage and I will hold on to for forever or until something happens where I can cash out.
And it sounds like you're trying to play this game pretty smart, man. It sounds like you're trying to build some generational wealth over there, man.
That's the goal. I want one of the houses to pay for one of their colleges. Hopefully they get scholarships and it's for them to get their books and everything else in school. But the goal is just to have that so that they can have these things later on and pass down. I want to stop the buck where you have to work because you need to, and they can go into careers they want because they want to. They can be artists. They can be anything they want, and they know that they are okay to live life okay without having to worry about the next paycheck.
Exactly, man. I think that's something that we want to get into a lot of times when we're on the podcast when it comes to some financial stuff. And I guess this is the perfect opportunity for you because you always drop, some like nice little dime in there, but we never get to talk at length. And I think, there's a wealth of experience here, a wealth of knowledge, and just a willingness to share it because, we aren't financial advisors by any means, but we've lived enough, we've experienced enough that, we know what it's like to have money, lose it, and try to mismanage it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So, just passing that on to the listener and the youth and that fair-haired youth that's coming across, I think it is huge. So, with generating that wealth, why do you feel like that is so important for you at this stage in your life?
Well, I'm actually late to the game when it comes to people doing this process. And, you have my 401k started and doing that. I did the Roth as much as I can legally from tax purposes. So that's where it is, and that's maxed out. But then you think, okay, well, what's next? And I know my job. I love my job. I think it's great that I have. But there's going to be a point where I'm going to be done. And I'm thinking, okay, what's going to happen after that? Do I want to, have to work, or Social Security won't do anything for us at our age? We won't get any money from that. We may get a couple $100 maybe if it's still around, but we can't depend on that as it. So now it's like, what can I do to start this process? And it's okay. This is it. This is owning land and owning property is one of the best things you can do for yourself, for your net worth, and for your family because it can be passed down through many ways. And the rich of the rich we do it for no taxes and defer tax, never ever pay taxes on a house being sold because you bubble it into the proper legal procedures or using your CPA to move that and just stay in the family. And the wealthy of the wealthy, almost all of them have real estate somewhere. If it's not single family, it's in commercial. They own apartment buildings, 60 units or more. They own, large strip malls. And you don't really think about it, but that person is using that to funnel money to their family in a positive way, the proper way of doing it because you get tax benefits for that. So it's just a wealth of things that real estate is a great investment. You have stocks, you have real estate, and you have your 401ks. But at the end of the day, those are the real two that make your money back. 8%, 10%, some people get 40% back in their flips. These are the war zones that they talk about. And I want to say war zones. But the very low income areas where there's a lot of crime, that's your low house. You can get for $6,000, $10,000. But when you sell it in 30 years, it'll still be worth $10,000 because the property value in the area won't go up. But your rents would be $600, $700 per month. So if you factor that in, by 3-4 years, the house is paid off, and now you're just getting that income from there. But you're dealing with the tenants that may not be the best tenants in the world. because you're dealing with the area you're in. So it's
Opportunity costs, yeah.
Yes, it's opportunity cost of the process behind it. So, that's what I got into it because I wanted to help those communities that's not served properly. And I want to, goal is like to buy one block or buy a couple houses, then rotate that into one block and just have a block or two blocks that you can turn around and change the neighborhood. Because in order to change the community, you got to change the block, one block at a time.
Absolutely.
Change the entire community.
Absolutely. It's funny because I was having a conversation with a friend of mine, and he's almost a mentor of sorts. And he was talking about that same mentality where you want to help, you want to do these things in our communities and kind of reach back in our communities. But sometimes he finds that he wants it more than those in that community. So how do you plan on overcoming that challenge?
I'm going to work through. Well, once I get the properties going forward, like my goal is to, if I can get a block and the house in the corner, I can turn that to some kind of community center for the kids to go to and relax. Like work through the kids, because the parents, their minds are already set up. But if you can involve the uplifting of their children, then they'll fold in. They'll come to the process. So you can't change the mindset of the older person.
Right.
They're already set. But a kid can make a parent do whatever they want if it's something that's for the better for them. Your kids can say, "Mommy, Daddy, I want to go buy this product, or I want to buy this food, or I need this now," and the parent will do that. They might do it for themselves. So the way to attack and to help, to attack by helping is to go through the children. So having community affairs, block parties, they're simple, like, celebrations, rewards for like homeworks or grades or anything else. Like, it may be like, you get something off of rent if your kid is on the honor roll. It's a small thing like that not being greedy, but being able to turn back around, because if they believe in where they live in and they're in that house for 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, taking care of it, and their kids can get better, and I can help them go on to buy a house somewhere else, then I've done my job and I rotate it again. I bring in a new one, but then the community around them is going to say, "Hey, this is what you should be doing," because Alfeo Homes, this is what they're about.
I love what you said when you said giving them something to believe in, giving them an area and a house or a neighborhood to believe in, because I think that's the biggest hurdle or barrier sometimes when we talk about these impoverished neighborhoods. If you wake up every morning and you don't even see opportunity, it's
Right.
like, what does that do for your mental? So for you to be able to provide that, to give them a glimpse of what that looks like, and then to help it grow, I think it's going to be amazing, man. It's huge.
I need to take the step to move and go. I've been in my analysis paralysis mindset of just reading and looking and seeing. But I think I took the first step about 2 weeks ago. I went to a NACA event, NACA, first-time home buyers, and they're going to allow you to buy a multifamily unit where you're one of the tenants. As long as you have the loan or mortgage, you have to live in the unit. So if I was able to get a 4-unit, I can live in one, rent the other 3, and start the process. And that's just, it started at a low cost, but it starts. And, they always say, "Oh, you can go in there you need a lot of money." You do need money. You get me wrong. You need a lot of money to start the process. But if you buy the right property at the right time, that property can give you the money you need.
Right.
You always need to have the big $50,000 deposit. You're not buying the house you're living in. You're not buying your dream home. $15,000 could be the starting price for a house, for a $100,000 house you need to start with.
And I think that's a huge mind state that sometimes like that we have to have, playing the long game a little bit, understanding that this is just the first step of many steps to come, and that the dream is a little bit down the road, but I'm gonna do this work right here and, make this grow, and then have exactly what I want a little bit down the road.
Exactly.
I think with that, though, we want to talk a little bit about the mistakes and things that we've seen coming across that. So, we talked a little bit or mentioned, our financial experiences and things that we've experienced even over the last year. What has been, I guess, your take on your financial well-being last year, and how do you want to turn that into, success or greater success in 2019?
18 was a year of zero credit card debt. I did everything I could from 17, did the plan, took the Dave Ramsey Financial Freedom course, did that process, learned about everything you need to learn about. And I've always been great at organizing and planning a credit card. I have an amazing spreadsheet that I share with anybody who wants it that breaks down, just their entire facts, what you're making in, what you're paying out, how much you should be sending to debt, to housing, to transportation, to everything, all there for me. So I had that platform, and the goal was just, okay, how am I going to get to zero? Minus student loans, because that's the biggest hurdle to take care of. But that's there, and that's not a bad debt, even though it is a debt. It's not a bad debt because the interest rate is so low. But I want to get rid of it. But the credit card debt was number one priority. Some of those are 13%, 14%, and I look back now, and if anyone listen to this call now, look at your credit card statement and think about it. Every dollar you spend, if you are at 23%, every dollar you spend, you're giving them back 23 cents on a dollar. For something you probably don't even remember buying it for. That fast food that you bought that was $10 that you're still paying for the shoes you bought a year ago, that fast food now costs you $50 because you're paying interest on it. And that's the way that the banks get it and get money from them. And that's what I had to learn. Like, no, if I'm going to have this credit card, I have to pay it off immediately. I pay my credit card off every Sunday. Every Sunday before our podcast planning, I sit down and I go through all the bills. Even if it's $14 on a card, it's $14 paid off every Sunday. Because I want 0% interest on those cards. And I want to maximize. I want to be the person that the credit cards are paying me to keep. So those airline miles, those benefit points, I'm actually going to get that benefit of it and not use it because they give it to you because you're paying for that regardless. Somebody somewhere is paying to give you those points because they have a balance they're keeping and they're paying a minimum on that balance and it's going nowhere. So that's just the lessons I learned 17 to 18. And I'm just trying to share with everybody and just like, listen, get rid of it. Credit cards are necessary. People say cut them off, don't get rid of them. I think, this is where I disagree with Dave Ramsey, because as much as they can be misused and mishandled. Right. If you have it properly, it can be a great tool for you to use. But you have to manage it properly because the one slip up, the one overcharge, it should be thought as a debit card in your wallet that you're paying off immediately. If you don't have the money in your account to pay it off today, don't pay your credit card. That's the thing, though. I think with credit cards, there's just a huge amount of discipline that has to go along with that that piece of plastic that you applied for is just basically given to you. And I don't think that a lot of us come into that or are taught to have that discipline. And I'm sure it wasn't always like this for you, where you're waking up Sunday morning, it's like, oh, all right, let me see how much damage I did this week. All right, it's all gone. I'm pretty sure you've run the times where it was high balances. So how did you go from, making the poorer financial decisions to, okay, this is it. I got to transform. Now I want to make the right ones. That had happened when I was in Miami. I would probably say around 2004. I had about 5 credit cards. Some of them have $10,000 balances. Some have $5,000 balances. And I felt like, okay, I'm going to pay the bill at the end of the month. All right, so when the bill comes in, I see the due date. I did my automatic payment. I go log in. I set up for that date. And I kept looking at it going, not moving. I'm paying it, but I feel like I paid the $200 they asked me to pay, but my balance is still, it may go down $50. So then I thought, well, there's got to be an easy way of doing this. And I thought, okay, so the APR gets pulled out on the 5th of the month. So if I were to instead of me doing the $200 at the end of the month, if I did 50, 50, 50, 50, then they will only give me interest on the last remaining 50 than the other 50. So then I started rolling that forward and I thought, oh wait, I'm still paying them interest, but I'm paying them less. So now let me just stop and put the minimum on this one and take everything and call it debt snowball and snowball all that over there to this one card now and do that. So now instead of 50, I'm putting 100, 100, 100, 100. And you start seeing those balances move. And it's just like, that's like, you start seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. You're like, okay, I can get out of here. And I think in 18, I got the last card down to 0. And so literally all my credit cards are at 0. They come in every month, I pay off whatever it may be, and I use it because I want to keep them active. I have cards from college. I have a card that's 20-something years old that's still there that I bought and you will tell you is that I bought a pair of Irisons, Irison threes, and they came out for myself, for
Yeah.
for one of my another guy named EJ. I bought 3 pair of those, and I was like, am I still paying for these Irison threes from 1998? So it just makes you think back, like the mistakes I made as a kid, thinking that, oh, it's just free money. It's okay, I'll pay for it in small portions. Because like I said, no one told us pay this off immediately. Like we aren't taught that. We're taught, oh, you got a credit card? Okay, cool. You'll pay off minimum, you'll be fine. Like you can pay in 10 years, it's fine. You'll take care of it. And no one says no. If you can't afford it, don't buy it. You can't. The rule I live by now: if I can't buy 10 of them, I can't buy one.
Wow. You hear that, America? That's amazing right there. If you can't buy 10, then you shouldn't buy one at all.
Yep, that's saved me a lot of big purchases. I mean, and don't get me wrong, like, everyone knows I like to shop and buy things and buy trinkets and toys, and you see my wall at home and stuff. And it's like if I can't, I might want it, but it's just not gonna work out. But I have more things to do. The opportunity cost of that $200 going somewhere else can go towards a real estate house or to a stock or something that makes me money. I'm tired of depending on my job to get paid. I want money to make the money I have to make me money. It may take 10 years to do it, but I want to start investing that now so that by 10 years, that money has made me some money. I'm not slave to the bill.
I think that's very important, man, because I know it's several of us out here that are like 2 paychecks away from an eviction notice, and it's crazy.
90% of us are that way. And there's I have a savings account now. I've been saving up. I got my emergency fund, but early in the year, that was me. And I have a well-paying job, but it wasn't that. It was, I have this raise. Okay, I'm going to use this raise. And never think that, no, if I have a raise, take that money and put it somewhere else. Like, am I investing 20% myself first before I do anything else? Or am I paying my credit card 20% and then getting a scratch myself? It's just you have to take care of yourself first. You got to pull yourself, got to pay yourself. And that's something that you hear it all the time.
But I don't think people understand what that means, because you get paid, but you paying everybody else once you get paid. You paying the liquor store, you paying your rent, you paying the shoe store, you paying your kids' daycare bill. You got to pay yourself first. And that's why you talk about those Roth IRAs, the 401ks, even mutual funds. Like you got to find some way to put some money away for yourself in some fashion, because you don't make any money with sitting in the bank.
It's not. You lose that money. 0.2%.
It's nothing. It's nothing, man. And so if you're not putting it towards the side hustle, you got to find some way to invest it or make it work for you.
Exactly.
Right? Wholeheartedly. Hey, man. So we on 90 some odd episodes now.
I know, right? Wow.
90 some odd episodes, and on our road to 100. How does it feel for you, man?
Yeah, it's crazy, because I remember us first starting, and the horrible microphones, the horrible phone, having our agenda we want to talk about, and then just totally missing it completely. Or there's an hour 40-minute show we had because we wanted to get it in.
Man, it's crazy.
Yeah, right. And to see us, and we've all even grown in from the whole process, from flagology to everyone doing their own thing, Kara doing his thing, to Ian doing his thing, to Mike coming in doing his thing, to Jay Dace, like doing amazing things now and speaking everywhere and really making it happen. And you about to get things going, and I'm getting real estate happening, and just to see the progression, you can see it. I wish we could do like a fast forward of just episodes, and you can see the progression of each person and how, even if we're not here, or there's movement happening in the background. And websites going. It's just a lot, and it all started because we're here weekly, and we have to make sure that we're doing what we got to do to bring information to you, one, so you can monitor it properly, but that we're making the proper steps to move forward, which is always good. It pushes us to go forward.
Yeah, man, I think the biggest thing for me over that time span, and I'm probably going to do this almost every time with these one-on-ones, but the growth and the development of the crew, things have morphed and transformed, and people have transitioned and everything. And just seeing how this thing has come together, it's nowhere near as formulaic as it was for the first 10 or 15 episodes. We haven't had to deal with, me dropping the mic in a very, very long time. Those used to be hilarious, by the way. But just that growth and development amongst the crew and how everybody's kind of grown up, you know. So if you follow the podcast from episode 1 to 91 or 92, you know, you see that and you feel that. And I think it's just it's an amazing thing to have that journey, have that growth with somebody. Even as our listeners and our fan base grows, it's like I used to like cringe when I was in a room or listening to myself, and now I'm like cringing when I see these comments or when I get these topic ideas, you know, 'cause it's like, oh wow, people are really listening. You know, it's crazy. You go look at the podcast, we got 5 listens this week. Because at first it's like, wow, somebody actually tuned in to hear what I gotta say. And then, you know, when that number changes and it starts growing exponentially, you get in the 20s, 30s, 100 listens, 100 spans a week. And then it's like, wow, man, people really enjoying this. So it's been an amazing ride, man. I'm just thankful for all you guys really pushing me, and thankful for especially what you bring to the table, Faison, with your BFBG smiles and, you know, all that positivity coming from that side of the podcast.
Yeah. And I can also say you can hear the speed of my voice decrease over the time from me starting off a mile a minute to, you know, now I still speak fast, but those first couple episodes, even up to probably 20, there were some speed there. You didn't catch me. That was it.
That was it. Art and him making up words. We trying to figure out. We on the text message in the chat group. Like, what did he just say? Curl is the only person that understands.
Yes, he's always been the one that can hear through my mumble, through anything. He's always been clear for us. So him and Ian hears him very well too. Ian speaks art fluently, so it's pretty awesome. But I'm listen. This podcast and YouTube channel has totally transformed, you know, me. I'm looking forward to doing some point in time, probably soon, just a YouTube chronicle of what's going on with me, a daily or 3 times a week kind of update on the real estate game, where I'm going, what's happening, what I've done, what I'm thinking about, what moves I made. And that all came from this. This is all, you know, this channel parlaying over to another channel, and, you know, all being under that big umbrella. So it's some big moves coming. 19 is going to be a good year. It's going to be the first time for a lot of us during that first initial big, you know, paid gigs or, you know, big spotlights or, you know, the big house. And I'm looking forward to getting that picture where I can show like the deed, like I got the first one. So moving forward.
Absolutely. Hey, so before we get out of here, man, this has been your corner all show, but you know,
yes,
you cannot do the show without having art. What you got for us this week?
Man, you know what? Last time we talked, I said that you got to be grateful for what you're doing. So, you know, you have to appreciate things. This time, and I think I did this a little while ago, but, you know, investing in people, asking someone, if you ask someone how their day is going, listen. Don't cut them off. Don't run to a meeting or run around or talk to your wife or your husband or your boyfriend, your girlfriend, wherever it may be. If you ask them a question, listen to their question, because the best person you can be is someone who can help someone else by hearing. Don't say anything. Don't talk back. Don't cut them off. Even if you had the most amazing day and they had a horrible day, you know, don't cut them off and say, well, my day was great. I understand what you're saying, but talk about how my day was awesome. Sometimes listening, you know, example, I have a really good friend, and I hope he listens to this. We were talking and, you know, he had an issue and I let him talk it out. You know, a good therapist listens and says nothing until the very end, because sometimes the issue you have or celebrations you want, you bring it to yourself. You bring knowledge to yourself. So at the end of the day, listen, be a great listener, and be there for somebody, because there'll be a day be somebody there for you and you want them just to listen to you.
Absolutely, man. That's why we have him here almost every other week on the podcast, to bring that beacon of positivity, beacon of positivity and that light, man. We definitely appreciate you, Faison.
Yeah, man, it's awesome. I'm glad to be here. I really do enjoy this time. And if I'm not some airplane, I'm on this thing. Unless, you know, the boys are acting crazy, but I'm here. I make it a purpose, and EJ knows at the podcast night, She's okay, no problem. Like, so
That's big, man. The support from the wife is huge, man. Like,
she listens all the time and can make good feedback. Sometimes it hurts, but good
that's the
feedback.
thing, man. That feedback be stinging sometimes.
Yeah.
You know, you got to put your pride to the side. It took me a while to get over that hump when we first started.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got you. So, ladies and gentlemen, man, we're about to wrap this thing up, but make sure you get this podcast on iTunes, Google Play, SoundCloud. You can catch us on Vimeo and YouTube, Faison's favorite place to watch.
Yes, sir.
And make sure you follow us, all social media platforms at 13th Floor, please. But that's it for us, ladies and gentlemen. We are done here on the 13th floor, where the furniture isn't always the best, but the views are amazing.
Ta-ta.
The 13th
I'm excited.
floor.
I'm excited. This is good. This is good.
Yeah.
Come off my chest.
The 13th floor.